today topic is 5-year plans in India. So initially after the independence, India has selected the mixed economy path, thereby it wants to develop and it wants to fulfill all its goals by means of 5-year plans, which was taken, or this idea of the plans taken from the Soviet Union. And the 5-year plans has a long history, even from the 1938, where Maharshaguna Visvesvaraya came with the first plan of a planned economic development for India. And later the Congress, and in the 40s, in the mid 40s, number of plans, namely the People's Plan and the Gandhian Plan and the Bombay Plan was launched by the number of people. And ultimately a planning commission was established in 1950, and India launched the first 5-year plan in the year 1951, and the first 5-year plan was the 1951 to 56. Well, the first 5-year plan, there is no clear-cut strategy. The model was the Harad-Dhamar model, which was developed it. And there is also, when the first 5-year plan was launched, even the National Development Council was also not formed. So then we discuss the plan by plan in a detailed manner. So given the backdrop, the partition of India, loss of the fertile soils to the other nations, neighboring nations, and internally India suffered with severe food shortage, and added to this there are a lot of problem of refugees, mounting inflation and other economic problems. In this background, we have launched the first 5-year plan, and the immediate goal what we have in front is the solving the problem of the hunger, poverty, thereby agriculture was given top priority. Now the model is the Harad-Dhamar model, what I said previously. So the emphasis on the capital formation, which has a dual character. On one side it will increases income, and on the other side it increases the productivity. So top priority was given to the agriculture, including irrigation, and the share it comes to nearly 31% of the plan allocation was given to these areas, namely the agriculture, irrigation and power. So to top priority was given to the agriculture, and to a plan target was a growth rate of 2.1% was made in the first 5-year plan. And it has also put the rate of investment at the rate of 5 to 7% of the national income. So with these ideas, the plan outlay was totally 2,378 crores, but actual allocation was afterwards it is only the 1960 crores. And as I told you, agriculture, irrigation, power along with other sectors, it formed the 44.6% allocation. And the second priority was given to transport and communication, social services the third. So while preparing for the various examinations, what is the model of the plan, what is the strategy of the plan, which sector was given top priority, are the things to be remembered for examination point of view. Then, so though these allocations were made, then the review of the plan. India has achieved the first 5-year plan growth rate of 3.6%. The food production grains was increased tremendously, so it was increased to the 65.8%, wherein the per capita income was increased to 299 at current prices, and the 10,480 the national income. So the tremendous gains were witnessed in the first 5-year plan. However, since the agriculture was given top priority, along with the agriculture, irrigation and the power, to generate these multipurpose dams were constructed, namely the Bakranangal, Hirakud, Mettur Dam, and to control the secondary sector, ID Act, namely the Industrial Development Act was launched in 1951, and this act where the LPQ system was laid the strong foundation, that is the license permits quota system laid the strong foundation. And in the initially the first community development program, namely the 1952, CDP was launched. It is the first rural and the rural development program. The National Development Council established here, and India is among the one of the first countries they say to launch the family planning policy. Alongside to support the agriculture, a fertilizer factory was established at the Sindri. SBI was nationalized in 1955, and in the same year a industrial investment bank, namely the ICCI, was established. So these are the other developments which are to be kept in mind while answering the questions when it comes to the first 5-year plan. Well, when comes to the second 5-year plan, at what backdrop so this the second 5-year plan was launched. So after giving the top priority set to the agriculture, India wants to jump into the industrial mode of development. It wants to establish a socialistic pattern of the society by giving top priority set to the industries, and it is as what you call the growth target it has put up is the 4.5, and it wants to have the theory of the two-sector, Panlabis two-sector model, later expanded to the 4-sector model. Then it finally to have a rapid industrialization led by the public sector, and it wants to establish a socialistic pattern of the society. So the second 5-year plan has an ambitious growth rate target of 4.5%. So when whatever the strategy here, the strategy is said to be Nehru Manlowitz strategy. What it is exactly? So it is a two-sector model strategy. One side the capital goods and the other side is the consumer goods. So the capital goods and the consumer goods industry, so these are to be controlled by the public sector, and the private sector was left with the consumer goods industry. So when the public sector rises, what we call making the rapid expansion of the industries, people's income will rise, their purchasing power can be increased, thereby they demand the consumer goods, and the private sector will, let's say, come into say this picture consumer goods. Likewise, the later the sector was expanded set to the 4-sector model. Then along with that, the government wants to expand the employment opportunities, and the rate of investment was also increased. So these are the basis with these targets we have started the second 5-year plan. And when so the sectoral allocations, so though the proposed outlay is 4,800 crores, actual expenditure is only 4,672 crores. Highest allocation was given to the single sector, namely the industry sector, to the tune of the 24%. Agriculture and allied sectors were given 20%, and the social services, namely the 18%, and transport and communications along with the others, the percentage allocated is the 28%. So after the single sector allocation of industries, the important point here is to be noted is the transport and communications was given the priority of 28% of the total plan outlay. That's why the second 5-year plan is also known as the transport and communication plan, which is to be noted. Then review of the plan. Though the targeted growth rate is 4.5%, the achievement is very less. It is only 4.1. However, the per capita income was increased to 326. National income increased by 2% per annum, and though in the other areas, namely except sugarcane, no other crop productions have reached the target, as the majority of the income and the activities are centered around the development of the secondary sector. Comparatively, the primary sector was neglected. So national income increased. However, national income was increased to 14,140, and foundations were laid strongly here in the transport sector. Then what are the other developments in this plan? Namely, the Khadi and Village Industries Corporation. So government constantly supporting the heavy and basic industries. So it don't want to neglect the small industries. That's why it has established a corporation known as the Khadi and Village Industries Corporation. LIC was established in 1956, and the three important heavy industries, namely the steel plants Bellai, Rourkela and Durgapur, they were also established. And NMDC was in 1958, and to support these agriculture industries, SBI and its associates, they were nationalized. Then in the 1961, at the end of its intensive agriculture district program was launched in the three important districts. And however, there are the problems of inflation and BOP problems in the second 5-year plan. So with this, the second 5-year plan, India has said to have been entered into the takeoff stage. Thereby, we have launched the third 5-year plan known as the 1961 set to the 1966. The third 5-year plan was launched. However, the Industrialization due to the import of the capital goods has been increased tremendously, burden was there. There is a problem of import of the food grains, and so this problem it needs to be taken care. Import of capital goods along with the import of food grains, these two problems was led to the foreign exchange problem. Low savings rate and low capital investments is some other problem, and thereby a balanced growth strategy was launched. Objectives of the plan is the to attain self-reliance and self-sufficiency. These are the two important planks for the third 5-year plan. The target growth rate is 5.6 and national income we want to increase by 5%. But however, things are not very bright, and during the time of the third 5-year plan, India has witnessed the Indo-China war, Indo-Pak war, drought, devaluation and high inflation. So due to owing to these all problems, the growth rate was fell down. The achieved growth rate is only 2.7, which gave the debt blow to the aspirations and ambitions. Now the total outlay is the 8,577 crores, agriculture 21%, transport and communications 25, industries 23. This is about the allocations. Then with this tensions, namely India wants to take a 5-year plan holiday. So why? Because plan holiday during this time, so we have launched the 3 annual plans with the outlay of 6,625 crores. The main plank remains the same, that is the self-sufficiency and the self-reliance. And during this period, the important point is to be noted is the Green Revolution and the Lead Bank scheme. So these are the two important schemes. Then before the launch of the annual plans, so the important developments, namely the NCDC, establishment of NCDC in 1960, the National Cooperative Development Corporation, IDBI, UTI, FCI, and to control the agriculture production, two important rates, namely the minimum support price and procurement price, which were to be announced. They were established, they were institutionalized, namely by the establishment of the Agriculture Price Commission. Of course, this commission was later renamed as the Commission on Agriculture Costs and Prices in 1985. Now, in the High Yielding Variety Program was launched in 1966. With this, during this time, though we have declared a plan holiday, India was made a tremendous boost into the production of the food grains. Then, with this success of the Green Revolution, the aspirations were again, they were alive and they were bounced back, and with these aspirations, India launched the fourth 5-year plan from 1969 to 74 with the growth with social justice, growth with stability as the main plank, giving the equality and social justice as the supplementary planks. And growth rate target what we have kept is the 5.7%, and we want to develop even economically self-reliant economy. With these ideas, we have launched the fourth 5-year plan. Then the sectoral and the total outlay is the 15,779. So the top priority, top allocations was given to the agriculture, followed by the industries, later by the transport and communications. However, the achieved growth rate is only 3.3%. Why? Because two important sectors, namely the agriculture sector, was grown only by 2.9% against the target of 5.7. The industrial growth was only 4.7 against the target of the 8.1. So with these two, the growth rate was fell down, say to the 3.3%. As you know, the plan was failed due to number of reasons, namely the Indo-Pak war for the Bangladesh liberation, Bangladesh refugee problem, international oil crisis, Pokhran 1, that is the Smiling Buddha operation, added say to this high inflation and deficit financing. So adding say all these reasons, the fourth plan was ended in the failure. So dear friends, once we recall the 4 5-year plans, so the first plan was a success one. The second 5-year plan is almost success, though the achieved growth rate is only 4.1, but the third and the fourth 5-year plan was not reached their target. So how we will plan, we will see in the next plans. So the other developments during this time include establishment of the Monopolies Restrictive Trade Practices Commission, MRTPC Commission. Of course, it is not there at present. It was replaced by the Competition Commission of India. Then say along with the LIC, GIC was established. Then the Marginal Farmers Development Agency, the small farmers development agency or the some other important development agency. So to have the irrigation for the more areas, namely the command area development program is an important program which was developed here. So the fifth 5-year plan was launched in the from 1974 to 79. Though self-sufficient as the food grain, then number of people have thought that India should not target on the growth process. Instead, it should target on the human-centered development. That's why our main important center economic development shifted from the growth to the development, where the development should have a human face, and the two important hurdles for the development is the poverty and the unemployment. These needs to be addressed. So the planners thought that poverty should be addressed first, and with the Garibi Hatao program, the Garibi Hatao became the main objective of the plan. So import substitution was continued up to the fourth 5-year plan. Now India realized the fully, it wants to promote even the export promotion. The target growth rate is reduced, it is only 4.4%, and India wants to continue to achieve the economic self-reliance along with the removal of inequalities of income and wealth. So the plan outlay is the 39,426 crores, agriculture 22%, industries 26, and the energy is given. So from this plan one has to note that energy and infrastructure became important items for the allocation, not the agriculture. So agriculture allocations was reduced or stopped at a level of 19 to 22% from this plan onwards. Then the achieved growth rate is what we call the 4.4%. 4.4% growth rate achieved because India has achieved much growth in two important sectors, agriculture and the industries. Agriculture grown by more than 4%, industry grown by the more than 8%. Added say to these two, the achieved growth rate became very good. So friends, the things noted is the failure of the fourth plan attributed say to the negative growth in these two sectors, namely the agriculture and the industry. When they are grown, the growth rate was achieved. So this is to be noted here. So the plan is a comparatively successful plan. And the other development includes minimum needs program, a 20-point program, establishment of the regional rural banks, integrated development, integrated tribal development blocks or agencies, urban land ceiling act, for the establishment of the National Institute of Rural Development, and the fifth 5-year plan to support the small scale industries, namely the one important institution was set up, namely the district industries centers. Along with it, some area centered programs were made, that is the desert development programs were made. So then we start say to the sixth plan. So here the important thing say to be noted is during the launch of the sixth plan or before the launch plan, between the sixth plan and the fifth plan, there is a change of government. The emergency was declared in 1975. The Congress government at the center was fell down. Later a new government, Janata government, came to the power by 1977. They have launched a new sixth plan known as the rolling plan from the 1978 to the 83. This plan continued up to the 2 years. However, thus government was never continued. It has never lasted long. So again the government fell down and a new government again came to the power in 1980, and these two plans 1978 to 1979, this plan was mixed with the 5-year plan, and another plan was from 1979 to the 1980 is now in the history continued as annual plan. So there is an I set told you energy and infrastructure came to the picture by the starting of the fifth 5-year plan. They have continued in the sixth 5-year plan. However, the top priority in the sixth 5-year plan was given as Bekari Hatavo, unemployment or creation of the employment opportunities. So in the fifth plan, Garibi Hatavo, in the sixth plan it is the Bekari Hatavo. Import substitution continued with along with the export promotion. Top priority was given say to the energy and modernization, of course control of the population, the growth. The plan outlay is the 1,09,290 crores. Agriculture was given 24%. See, energy, as I told you, it is 28%, increased tremendously. Then the review of the plan, the achieved growth rate is 5.7%. So third and fourth 5-year plans was not succeeded, but however, the fifth and the sixth 5-year plans has compensated the growth, and any plan to success one need to be supported by the good growth rates to